next step is to love others as yourself, or as Jesus would say, love your neighbor as yourself. Or as Buddha would say, or at least Tibetan Buddhists would say, do this. Think of everybody as your friend. Everybody as your friend, whether they are being nice to you at this moment or not, think of them as your friend. And part of the problem, of course, is getting us to really feel or to embody that idea that they really are our friend. Instead, we might find it challenging, and so they give us a practice. So in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, they give you the practice of imagining everybody you see as though they were your mother or had been your mother at some time. In your multiple, uncountable number of incarnations, that every being you meet at some point in all those incarnations and their incarnations, you had turned up as you will eventually pull this toxin of otherness away from your being. You'll begin to realize that this idea of seeing only the differences and the things that keep us apart will begin to be extracted like a poultice from your mind. And you'll be able to sit in this state of compassion for other people, even if you don't know them, because somehow this natural understanding that we're all connected and always have been, or often have been anyway, that we are now in that state. And then Jesus' words, which I will just choose to quote him directly, because usually I just mangle it. And here's what he said. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. And if you love them which love you, what reward have you? In other words, if all you can do is love the people who love you and are kind to you in this lifetime, well, I guess that's better than hating everybody, but it's not very heroic and it's not very spiritual. It's just natural. So if we're really going to grow and become a spiritual being, our job is to do that very difficult thing, which is to love your neighbor as yourself. And you can't really love your neighbor as yourself if you haven't started loving yourself. So you must start there. And that is the fun part, to start loving yourself. And once we get to that point, once we get to the self-love point, then it's not so hard to jump out and to love your neighbor. Because now you kind of got it. You got the thing that has to happen first. But if you're in, I don't love me, and you're going, I'm going to love my neighbor, you pushing a rock uphill. So love yourself, and then begin this practice of seeing everyone as friend. And then you will be concerned for their welfare. You will not just be neutral. It's like, I'm not going to hurt anybody. You'll be in the, I am compassionate to your situation, and where I can, I'm going to give myself the gift of being of service to you. And we move forward as spiritual people on the path, but we pull others with us. They come with you as you go. They go. To give the gift of wisdom, or to give the gift of love or compassion. And the Dalai Lama says it's good to have an enemy because they teach you patience. Now here's somebody who has practiced this idea of seeing everybody as friend. So if he can say that about the Chinese, and he seems to say it only, not like, yeah, but they are really jerks. He doesn't go like that. It's just like that's all he says. He moves toward them with compassion, even though they do their best to make his life miserable. If he can do it, then it's an invitation for us to do it. And he's not the only one. You think of Gandhi and Martin Luther King. They made a change in society simply by doing this instead of taking up arms. Taking up arms is a possible way of transforming your society, but transforming it in a beautiful way is done by this idea of returning goodness for bad, of taking the blow but not delivering another, by returning hate with kindness. And our job really is to grow into that. And you know, you may feel powerless in this moment to affect change on a national level, but you would be more beautiful in your powerless state if you learned how to love everybody, even those people. So let us contemplate what we're really being called to be. Someone who loves our neighbor as ourselves, who blesses those who curse us, who does not take retribution as our only option. Let us be more than that. Let us be reminded that Martin Luther King can do it, if Gandhi can do it, if the Dalai Lama can do it, if half of the women in the world can do it. Let's return good for evil.